I'm Emily Curing, and I'm a research staff member at the Institute for Defense Analyses. I've been leading a project looking at empirical data, compiling data sets from things like cell phone mobility, policy data, COVID-19 case counts, demographics, and weather data, looking at different factors that are involved in the spread of COVID-19. One of the things that's been apparent from the beginning of the pandemic is that we were severely underestimating the true prevalence of COVID-19 in the United States. Here at IDA, we've used techniques such as using the results of antibody testing in the blood over time to get a better estimate of true COVID-19 case counts. And they've estimated that as of December 20th, as much as 20 to 30% of the population of most states had been infected with COVID-19 versus 5 to 10% of the actual reported case count. While recent attention has placed a lot of emphasis on the lab leak hypothesis for the origin of SARS-CoV-2, the preponderance of the scientific evidence points to a zoonotic emergence, most likely from bats, potentially through an intermediate host. While of course we should investigate all options for the emergence of SARS-CoV-2, we need to be careful to emphasize those that are much more likely, including those instances that put humans in close contact with animals for things like the wet markets as well as the wildlife trade. There have been variants emerging for SARS-CoV-2 since the beginning of the pandemic, and these have been waxing and waning all over time. The vaccinations available here in the United States offer very good protection against all of the variants identified to date, so it's important to get vaccinated. One of the important lessons learned from this pandemic is the ability to be agile in expanding testing rapidly. We were hampered very early on in the pandemic by the lack of availability of testing. We could learn some important lessons like greatly expanding the base of folks that are able to test, such as academic labs, private industry. My hope is if we can do things like greatly expanding testing, we'll be much better prepared when the next pandemic hits.